Hello, I'm student meteorologist Alex McAvoy. In NFL, we always see any type of extreme weather impacts happening, whether it's from hurricane-force winds or torrential downpours, perhaps even something like blizzard conditions happening during games and extreme cold. Regardless of the type of weather that may happen during an NFL game, today we dive into 4 different NFL games with extreme weather that impacted them greatly.
The first extreme weather game we have will be the Tsunami Bowl. Field conditions were wet and wild in Charlotte, North Carolina on September 25, 2011. Approximately 4 inches of rainfall fell throughout the day. Everyone from the players to the fans to the coaches were completely drenched, not to mention the stadium stairwells looked like rivers. Carolina would end up winning the game 16-10, but let's take a look at what caused these unfavorable playing conditions.
One of the strongest factors in why there was so much rainfall that day in Charlotte, which is right here, is because of the surface low spinning counterclockwise, forcing all this rainfall and moisture inland, and that we can see that's present from the satellite imagery here. All this moisture that is along the coastline will be forced inland, and that just kept dumping loads of rain on Charlotte and the surrounding areas for game time.
Our second game will be the Freezer Bowl from January 10th, 1982. Regarded by many as the coldest game in NFL history, the Freezer Bowl was a game between the Chargers and Bengals for the AFC Championship in 1982. The Bengals would go on to win the game 27-7 and move on to the Super Bowl. This game wasn't only cold enough without the wind at -9 degrees Fahrenheit, but strong winds created a wind chill of -59 degrees Fahrenheit at times, hence the name of the Freezer Bowl. Players, coaches, and fans all had to find any way they could to keep warm, but some people actually ended up getting health effects and frostbite from this game. Let's take a look at the conditions that were set up for that day.
Here we see why conditions were so unfavorable for Cincinnati, which is right there, this day in history. This very deep trough dug across almost the whole United States, bringing all that very cold air down from Canada and the Arctic. And that happened to be just heading right towards Cincinnati also, which was right directly in the path of all that cold air and winds.
Our third extreme weather game is the Snow Bowl from January 3rd, 2010. Buffalo, where it seems to snow every single time there's a home game in the winter here, but it does make for some great football. On this particular day, lake effect snow would cause 8 inches of snowfall during game time alone. Buffalo is surely one of the best winter weather teams in the NFL, as they went on to defeat Peyton Manning and the Colts by a score of 30-7. Let's take a look at the imagery for this day.
Here we have our surface plot for that snow game on January 3rd, 2010. Right up here off the screen is a low pressure system that has counterclockwise flow wrapping all these winds and moisture down from Canada and the Arctic, bringing all these winds and snow right over the lakes here into Buffalo. That was why there was so much snow. And let's take a look at the satellite imagery to confirm. And like we said, we see all this moisture wrapping right down into Buffalo right there, bringing all that snow during game time.
The last extreme weather game we have is probably the most famous one in the Ice Bowl, December 31st, 1967. Well known in the NFL community as the most extreme game in terms of weather impact, the Packers and Cowboys clashed in -15-degree weather for the NFL Championship in Green Bay on December 31st, 1967. This game had impacts on everyone associated with it. Many players and fans experienced frostbite on their fingers and toes. Reports are that multiple fans died from the elements that day, but only one was confirmed. The NFL had a very tough time recording this game, as only 5 out of the 18 cameras were working at the end of the game.
Now taking a look at the 1967 December 31st weather map from the U.S. Department of Commerce. Here is Green Bay for the Ice Bowl, and see this high pressure right here? This was spinning clockwise, and this low pressure up here was spinning counterclockwise, and what does that do? Forces all this extremely cold air from Canada and up in the Arctic down, and that's why it was so cold, -15 degrees in Green Bay during that time period. Extreme weather obviously doesn't just happen in the NFL, it can happen in any sport. So the next time you're at a sporting event with extreme weather happening, just think, could this be one for the record books? I'm student meteorologist Alex McAvoy. Thank you for watching my production of the NFL History Extreme Weather.